There we go. Cool. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Hopefully that will work better.
I hope so. I went and there's like an agenda on here that the leader of the week can look at and pursue. And it says that we need to start with an opening prayer. Would one of you want to volunteer to do that? Maybe.
Yeah, I can say it for sure.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Our dear gracious Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for this day. Heavenly Father, we're thankful that we have the opportunity to be here with one another, and please bless that the Spirit can be with us, that we will be able to learn new things and have a good discussion. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Awesome. Thank you. I actually thought this was due on Wednesday night and didn't turn it in until Wednesday night and realized I was late on it. So that was a bummer for me. Did y'all all read the case study and everything? Went well with it? Good.
Yes.
So there's a header for case facts, and we can talk about what was the main issue that you found. Danielle, you want to say what you think the issue was?
Yes, I think that Simon was kind of a very good employee and a very good salesman, and like he did great at his job, but he was not a good leader. He was not a good manager, and that was causing issues with the other employees with all the production. Maybe he was right with everything that he said about the labels, and maybe he wanted everything perfect. That maybe it was not the right way to say it. So I think that was the issue, that he was a very good employee that was promoted to be a manager, but he was not like the best manager.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I think the same thing. Like it had little facts in there talking about how his team would put their heads down in a meeting and they wouldn't speak up in certain aspects, and he would just, be all over them over little details. So it says, why is it important to know this issue? You have any thoughts about why this issue is important? It says that there's a hint we can use of how it can define the company's culture. So how was his behavior impacted the culture of the business?
Well, if he was kind of like becoming higher up, then more and more people would be turned to him, if that makes sense. So like the higher you get up, the more you work with more people. And so if you are kind of like yourself represented as like showing a bad management style or have a bad personality, and not, that's kind of how the company is showed. It's a lot different from someone, who was just working down where they were doing the manufacturing stuff. Like it's a lot different from someone down there and how like they work with the team compared to someone higher up, because everyone kind of looks at them, sees how they work with the team. And so definitely affects the company if you don't have good teamwork.
For sure. And I see that at my work, because I'm kind of in a small managerial role now. I've moved around a lot, but I've had this last team I had eight employees that was under me. And like we focused on like putting the tail lights on the cars, like having tail light fits, and there's other little processes and stuff. And it took me a while to gain their trust. Like they didn't really trust me at first. They had to fill me out as their leader. They would test me, put me in situations, see how I'd react. And I've seen other. Now I've grown in it. I've done it for years now, and I've grown in it. I've seen new people that get hired into it, and they come in with this attitude like they got this role and they're going to just tell you what to do, and it causes a huge like down spiral with the team. And like for us, like our big thing is quality. We want good cars being sent, so people keep buying Mercedes cars, and so it would just be,
Yeah.
the quality would be bad. We would have to stop the line, go talk to the team members, what's going on, what's doing this, and they would just reflect it back to their team leader, and it would be a mess. So, yeah, Simon, he's got to be careful,
Yeah.
for sure. That's one thing. And I've already, the next part is, I've already kind of touched the base on it. What were the specific behaviors that raised concern with Simon's behavior? And we kind of already covered that a little bit. Is there any more that you think that I didn't mention, that you want to talk about? No, I think we're good.
Yeah.
So what do we feel or believe is the culture at Derby Foods?
Mm,
Hmm.
I mean, I think there's like a good culture because it looks like, everyone else just wants to work hard and do what's right at their job. It just seems like Simon York is kind of like wanting to change everything. And so everyone is trying to adjust to a new culture because he wants to change everything. So it's like, it sounds like the company has a good culture,
Mhm.
as of now, but because Simon York was, kind of like moved up into this higher position, it's kind of, he's wanted to make changes, which is good. And I don't blame him. Every company needs changes and always new ideas are great. And I think it talked about that in the article about like how he was an essential to his company because he was coming up with really good ideas and making good changes. But sometimes people don't like changes, especially when they've worked in a company for so long. They don't like changes a lot. They're just not open to it. And so, I mean, I think the culture is good, but just I think these people who are having problems need to accept the fact that someone's new. And I think the new person also needs to accept the fact that like these people are adjusting to changes as well.
Yeah.
I think, I'm sorry, just to add something, I think that the culture is a lot like people first culture because like Mary was concerned and also what was his name, John. Um, so he was concerned about his actions. So because he was being rude with the people at production, also in the meeting he was being rude with the person that made this slide wrong. So they didn't like that, right? So they appreciate Simon. They think that is like he's very good and everything, but they care about their people because they don't want like they don't want them like to feel bad or to someone being rude with them. So I think that they have a good culture because they do care about their people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I felt the same way. One thing that stood out was like how you said was, I feel like they communicate very well among different groups of people. So that's huge in business, to be able to communicate. So the fact that he's able to go to Mary and both of them talk about it without any kind of drama or tempers flaring, like, because him being promoted, someone being promoted, and she mentioned that he was a good worker. She listened thoughtfully to what the other guy had to say, and that's important. So I feel like they have a really good team, organized culture there, for sure.
Yeah.
What would you guys recommend to maintain, change, or build on this existing culture? Keep doing what they're doing, really. Um,
Yeah.
keep communicating well, keep people in the loop. Uh, yeah. All right.
I think just
So,
everyone needs to be open to changes.
yep.
Sorry, Austin.
Oh, you're good. No, I'm glad. No.
I think everyone I think everyone just needs to be open to changes. And like also just everyone needs to be more open to like not be so offended when someone says something. Like I get that that guy was very upset that Simon York came down and like yelled at his team, and that was very unreasonable. And so Simon should also be able to like take criticism about the,
Mhm.
how he treats people. Everyone just kind of like needs to communicate and not take everything so personal, and just notice that like changes are happening within the company. And so everyone just needs to have kind of like an open mind about that and listen to other people's ideas.
Yeah. Yep. Do some kind of like team building with growth mindsets and how to develop a growth mindset or something small. Uh,
Yeah.
Moving forward. Okay. What is Mary's role in establishing the culture at Derby Foods?
She's a manager.
Yep.
So or she's the vice president, I guess. So she has a huge role to play. And it's very important that she kind of keeps everyone together. I mean, she's there to be an example, and she's there to find like a middle ground with everyone. She shouldn't be biased against one person. And I don't think she is. I think she really does like Simon York, but she also recognizes how he treats his team and how he
Mhm.
treats other people. So I feel like she's not biased in the whole situation, which I think is very good. And she has a lot of power in her position. She just needs to exercise it and use it in the right ways.
And perfect. Perfect. And that goes into like the next little breakdown. It's like, how is she actually supporting the culture and how is she working against the culture? So you kind of touched on that already. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. See, it says by working against it, she allows inconsistent behavior and she delays having a response to the issue. I guess she's taking time to think about what she says to Simon. That could not that could necessarily be a good thing. You know, taking time to think about what you want to say instead of going straight to it. Because if you rush up there not knowing what you're gonna, it could get ugly quick. So I think it's important to be prepared for those kind of situations. Um, so yeah, and then
True.
supporting the culture. It says she provides consistent feedback and support, leveraging rewards and punishments. So you touched on all those already. Break down Simon's role. How can Simon? What is Simon's role in establishing, maintaining the culture, and how is he supporting and working against the culture? Hmm. Well, he needs to try to
I
keep
think that
us.
he has good goals. He just wants to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Go
go ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I was just gonna say that maybe he has very good goals. He wants to sell more, and he has good contact with the client and everything. So he needs to like continue doing what he's doing with the client, and I think that that is very good. That he's pretty good at that. But maybe he just needs to like treat different, like his team and the people in the company. Just maybe instead of being rude, like motivate them. Maybe they can establish any type of um yeah, I don't know, motivation bonuses or any type of um yeah, I don't know what kind of thing, but they can establish another system for them to work harder instead of being rude. So in that way, they will want to be compensated.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Can I
Mm,
just say something on that? I really think that Simon just needs to keep doing what he's doing, just like you said. But I just don't think he's aware of how he's acting. I think some people just like that's how they talk to people, and they just maybe might not be aware. I think sometimes like when you get promoted in your job, you think, okay, now it's time for me to take charge and like do my best and not look bad. And so, like when it talked about the presentation how they gave and how they messed up on the slides, like, Mary talked about how he definitely felt embarrassed in that whole situation. And like, I would be too. I'd be very embarrassed. And, he just maybe have not recognized that like he was kind of being down on his team. Because he's like, he just built himself up into this brand manager and he doesn't want to look bad. He doesn't want to get fired. And so he just kind of turned the blame to someone else. And it probably wasn't the most responsible thing that he could have done. But I definitely think that like he can be justified in some of his actions if he just needs to be told. And that's why I think it's so important for Mary to tell him. Like you were saying, Austin, it's so important for Mary to tell him as soon as she can, so he doesn't do that again and he doesn't turn more people against him. And he just like fixes the problem.
Yep.
I think that's something very important. Like at the end of the document, it says like Simon York, like his point of view, and it's just like in the meeting, he was just trying to show everyone that he's committed with quality, and that he was like, thank you, I was able to like to how is here yeah, like to see on time everything with the labels. So he just said like, I want to show the best and thanks, I was able to do this, but he actually doesn't know. He doesn't know that he's doing things right. So that's why he's still acting like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very driven. And that he can be a great leader with that quality. He's just got to know how to apply it in a better way. For sure. You want to move forward to the next role? We go with Simon's role?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So the next one will be the team members role. So I guess the people under Simon and under the other guy that were in the meeting. What would be their role in establishing and maintaining the culture, and how are they supporting and working against the culture?
I like what it says there. It says in the support, like supporting the culture, it says providing feedback to York and providing results. I'm working human resources and I receive a lot of cases in the company where um, people have issues with their managers, right? And what we tell them in human resources is first, like, do you already talk to your manager? And they're like, no, I didn't. So we did not like go in before they talk directly with their managers. Um, because it's gonna be a little bit weird that the manager is gonna be, okay, why you didn't tell me directly and why you went to human resources, maybe we can resolve this together. So sometimes is what is happening to Simon. He doesn't know that he's doing things wrong. So maybe if the team or if someone of the team can go and talk to him and say like we appreciate what you're doing and everything, but maybe you can start doing your leading, like you can start being a leader, sorry, like in this certain way, or maybe you can improve something. And of course, we like as it says here, like they will still like give results. So I think that will be the best option, like for them, like to talk to him, to let them know also maybe how they feel. And I'm sure that he's a good guy, so he will like understand what they say and be willing to change or to improve what he needs to improve.
Yeah, I definitely agree with like everything you said. They should just like that's what they're doing to work against the culture, is they're not going to Simon, you know? Like they're kind of letting the problem sit there. And then they decide, oh yeah, let's go talk to our manager about it. Or like, the vice president, like the highest that they could possibly go. Which like I get, I think sometimes we all do that. There's a problem and sometimes we immediately just go to someone who's the highest person because we know they can fix the problem. But it's better just to like talk to someone, and if it doesn't get resolved, then that's when you go talk to a higher person. At my work, we have that problem where there's these two dental assistants, and this one dental assistant, she's new and she's trying to be trained by this other dental assistant. Well, this other dental assistant's not being very open, not doing her job, like sharing with her the things that she needs to learn, and is being very complicated. And so she keeps complaining about it to me as another dental assistant. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do anything because it's not my problem. And And I wasn't really thinking, and I was just like, you should just go to our office manager and just go talk to her about the whole problem. And I was like, that's what I would do. And then she's like, yeah, like maybe I will, but I'm gonna go talk to her first, like talk to the other assistant first and try to figure out the problem. And if it doesn't work, then I'll go talk to our office manager. And I was like, dang, I'm really glad you taught me that, because I would have never really, like, I would just go to, my natural instinct is just go to someone higher. And so they're just kind of like failing their culture when they don't just resolve the problem. And that's just what we need to do, because some people just may not understand that there even is a problem because they just feel different about it.
Yep. Yep, I agree 100%. That's awesome. And you hit that on the head. That's exactly what it says for not working against or working against the culture. So it's perfect. Great example too. Okay, it says, what would you recommend starting, stopping, or continuing in each role that we discussed? We've already kind of touched on that. We would, speak up. We would not escalate higher. We would go try to solve the problem with the problem that we have. And we would continue to try to be, in Simon's case, to continue to be driven and work as you should and have your goals, but try to just learn to come across in a different way. All right. So next, this is our last little segment here. It's a feedback discussion, and it says we have a few questions that we have to answer together. First one's going to be, how should Mary approach the discussion with Simon?
I think that she should talk to him in a private setting, with no one around, and to be very nice about it, but also very direct, and not try to like beat around the bush, but just kind of be very direct like Simon. Like, there are some people that feel like offended the way you're talking to them, and you just may not understand, and that's okay. But like, try to, like, let's kind of talk about what we could do to be better, and maybe make goals with Simon. And I mean, what she could do that's better is like talk to him and tell him how great he's doing. Like, Simon, we loved your ideas, you're doing great, but we do have a problem with just like kind of like the culture and how people feel like they're being treated. And I just want to be honest with you about how some people feel treated. And I just, want to make goals with you of how we could make this a better culture for our company so we can get more work done, we can be more efficient, and kind of not turn it like I think Mary's huge thing is that she should not point out the certain people who feel that way. And she should not bring up examples, in my opinion. I don't think she should specifically bring up, hey, they got really mad at you when you went down to the manufacturing people who were creating the brand and you got super mad at them. I don't think that's a really good idea, because he might take his anger out on them, or turn his, like, he might just have hard feelings against them, maybe. And so I just think it's super important that she says, like, she's just noticed, or some people have complained, but never to give like a specific example.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what I was thinking too. And definitely, with him being goal-oriented, driven, I would definitely touch on something that he's doing good at, so he doesn't feel like he's just doing everything wrong. Because that's going to just take a shot at him, and it's gonna mess with him. So I think you covered that perfectly. And then question 2, I think you covered it. What are the key items that should be covered? We just covered all that in that question. Actually, I think you covered all of these questions.
Do you guys have anything else that you can say?
No, I think that would be a perfect conversation. I think it would be. I mean, depending on how he takes it, I think he would take it well.
Yeah.
But you never know. You never really know.
That's true.
in the document it says like some things like for in the feedback document, and it says basically what you just said. So it says like be direct, then identify a specific behavior, and then state the impact. So describe the positive experience or consequence, and then at the end it says what you just said, like do not describe the person itself or what he did wrong, like directly describe what he or she and the impact. So what happened like with the situation. So please like do not say exactly the experience or anything. So yeah, actually it's everything that you just said, and it is exactly the same thing. And actually I don't know if Austin or even you, Noel, were to went to the mission, or but I don't know how it's called in English. Sorry, I speak Spanish, like it's my first language. And but my I didn't went to the mission, but my husband told me that normally they have like these kind of meetings. They were like weekly meetings with your companion, and they start like with a prayer, and then you start saying good things about the other person, and then you just create like a good environment to say things to improve. And I think that is the idea. I think that it just like to create a great environment to say the things. And when I got married, I think that is something that we used a lot with my husband. So it's different when you say like just I don't like this, why you're doing this, or like right. And at the beginning that you start like knowing the other person, we just wanted to have these weekly meetings where we just sit down, start with a prayer, and just bring the spirit in that way when we talk to each other, we are not gonna feel attacked.
Mhm.
So it's at work. Maybe we will not start with a prayer or something like that, but maybe we can create the right environment in that way. The other people is not gonna feel attacked or anything like that. It's completely different when you just say something like, "Hey, you're doing this wrong," or "I don't like that." That when you create an environment and the other people or the other person is gonna be like more yeah, like willing to hear your comments.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great way to think of it. Just like what your husband was saying of like definitely like a mission, you know? It was so sometimes it was so awkward having those weekly meetings, just the companionship inventory. And it was like, you had to sit with them and, pray with them and then talk about kind of everything. And some companions that I had, they were great. And we never really had to like bring up anything. Some companions I had where we would bring up stuff throughout the week that, bothered us about each other. And we would resolve it right there. And then some companions, it was so hard to talk to them, where it's just like, oh, I can't get it out. And they can't get it out towards me. And then nothing gets solved. Like nothing happens. So it just would be really good for Mary and Simon to have a very open and honest communication where the spirit is there, just like you were saying.
Yeah, that's perfect. And unfortunately, I didn't go on a mission. I'm a convert. I joined when I was 21, and so it's pretty cool. My wife's family were members. My wife wasn't active, but when we got ready to decide on if we wanted to start become a family, we decided we wanted to go to church. I met with missionaries,
Oh,
and that's it. Been here ever since. So it's pretty cool. So it's been
that's so
almost
cool. When were
6.
you baptized, Austin?
It was in 2015. Yeah, 2015.
Awesome.
So I was baptized then, and then we were married in December of that year. I was baptized in August, married in December, and then we went to the temple and had our temple sealing in April a year later, or a year or two later. So it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Pretty
So
cool stuff.
cool. What temple did you go to?
The Birmingham, Alabama temple, the one that's near us. It's about an hour away from us. So because we're
Uh-huh.
from Alabama, and
Awesome.
it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Pretty cool.
Cool. Awesome.
Um, let's see. So there's a there's one of these little resources we have this week. It's called a feedback and coach PowerPoint, and I clicked on it real quick just because I felt like I should, and because I know I've had to give feedback for the last few years to people, and I've learned that you got to give feedback to people differently. Each person, like you kind of said, takes it differently. And this says to formulate your feedback, kind of what we discussed with what Mary should probably do. But it says write down what you're going to say and follow four guidelines. Be direct, identify specific behaviors, state the impact, and use caution. So like we kind of touched on all those. So the caution was beware, do not describe the person, describe the impact of what she did and what it had. So I think that's very important to use, and that we could use when we give feedback to others. Because I mean, if you just come up and tell somebody, hey, you missed this on this car, one, they're going to get mad, or they're not going to believe you, or one, they're going to be like, hey, I appreciate you looking out for me. Thank you for finding that. It's one or the other. And so it's just crazy. It's just, yeah, this is pretty cool. This is the first time I've looked at this. I don't know if you guys have looked at it, but it's pretty cool to have in case you need to give feedback or want to work on how you receive feedback. It kind of does all that. If you guys want to take a look at it.
Yeah.
But I think that's all of our questions that we've really touched on. I think we've covered them all. I think we've touched on the key concepts. Are we going to get in trouble if we don't go a full hour? Is that a thing? I wouldn't think so.
I don't know. I think it's kind of hard because there's only 3 of us.
Right.
I think we've been talking for 30 minutes, and I don't really know. We'll just have to ask him, but I think if there was more people, we would be able to do it longer. But just because there's only 3 of us, we only have 3 opinions to give. Unlike because aren't there 3 other people missing, or just 2? Just 2.
2 or 3. Yeah.
2 or 3. So, it's just like it would make up different. I think if we had, 3 other people, we would double our time because of how much we're talking. So I don't know. I think it's just hard, but we can ask him, but I think it should be okay too. And it's our first one that we've done. So I think it's okay.
And we never had any dull space. There was no like awkward silences, or we've all been kind of engaged in it. So I think we'll be okay. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's good.
Awesome.
Good.
Guys, I enjoyed it. It's nice to meet you all. It's going to be a fun group, I think.
Nice to meet you too.
So,
yeah, for sure. So, well, thanks, guys. It was nice to meet you. And Austin, just send us that link whenever.
Yep, I'm going to work on that now.
And just, that'd be perfect. And then, sorry, it's so much work. Kind of hard. And then,
let's see. It'll probably be easy if I just got to download it and upload it to YouTube. It'll probably take a few seconds to download and stuff. It probably won't be too bad. Hopefully.
Awesome. For some reason, I think it's super hard, but I'm glad you can do it.
I'll let you know. We'll see how long it takes me. So.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thanks,
I
guys.
don't know if you think that we should create like any type of group or something, or we should just like keep checking by inbox, or what works better for you.
Anyways, fine. We can do text message, and maybe other people. I check Canvas on a daily, so mostly multiple times a day. But also like texting works fine. Maybe that's a good way for those other people in our group to get a hold of us too. Maybe they don't check Canvas. I don't know.
Right. What I'll do is I'll send you guys the link through our whole group again, and then I can put on there that my phone number, and if anybody else wants to give their phone number, that way we can.
Yeah, I think the spreadsheet where we signed up has our phone numbers too.
It does. You're right. You are right.
Yeah.
Good deal. Did you try to text me? Because if you did, I probably did not text back. I don't think you did.
Yeah, I did. But maybe I just got the numbers wrong or something. I was doing it when I was at the airport, and I don't know. I might have just gotten the numbers wrong. I do that a lot. So, but anyways.
No worries. Sorry it took so long to get together, but yeah.
It's okay. We got it done, and we got it done before It's due. We've got 2 more hours.
That's right.
Actually, I
So,
guess on Central Time, we've got 3 more hours technically, because it's like not till 12:59. So it's like,
right.
it's nicer.
It's nice. And I don't sleep much
Yeah.
as it is, so it's perfect.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sounds great. Well, thanks,
Awesome, guys.
guys.
I'm gonna work on this and get it to you quick.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye.
night, guys.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.